here we are today. Nick wanted to do this. I just want to preface this, but he wanted to do this first. So stand by, folks. I'm gonna spray him. Ready, Josh? All right, lean towards me. All right, lean towards me. That's good. Oh shit. That is fun. All right, we might be getting one. Hold on. One more time. And we're done. Good job, buddy. All right, we got to paint it black and white now. We need contractor stickers. That was awesome.
That's a lot of fun. You need a pallet of
Dude, I forgot I was Mike. I go, I'm gonna spray Josh. I can't get out now. God's punishing me. All right, so we're here in Wesley Chapel. You got Nick, Rodney, the homeowner, they're behind me, looking at the slab now, and we're talking about the finish on the concrete. Now, what the customer wants on the back of the house, on the patio, is simply a brushed finish. And the reason why, because he wants to paint it down the road or possibly stain it down the road, but these are the things, these are little things that we didn't even think about during the beginning of discussion, you know, during the sales process. So little things like that's super simple, but the point is you gotta be out here to make those decisions on site, and that's why we're here with Rodney, and that's why we're here with Nick as well right now. All right, Wesley Chapel, it is concrete pour day.
Concrete day.
Very exciting day. You got B-roll, Josh was here first thing in the morning. That drone is rolling around right now, I'm sure. You're seeing this beautiful, beautiful concrete getting poured. And man, it's a sight to see. We're here, we did it. Yeah. We finally made it. Yeah. What's next?
So we're gonna go ahead and let this sit up for a little bit, probably about 2 weeks, and we'll test the concrete. And once we're good with that, we're actually starting the erection of the metal building.
Boom, there it is. You're gonna see that very soon. But tell people how we actually have to test the concrete. We have to drill through to see the percentage of cure.
Yeah, so I mean, normally concrete cures in about 28 days. So we can wait the full 28 days, or we can actually go ahead and do a physical test of the actual concrete to see what our actual cure percentage is at. We really just don't want to put too much stress on the concrete until we know that it's at least a certain level. So we're waiting to get to that certain number, and then we'll actually go ahead and cut a piece of concrete out, test it, and put the metal on if it meets a spec.
Perfect, perfect. Yeah. Now I know briefly, I was talking when you were over there talking to Rodney about the templates. Now I tell everyone how important these templates are for our red iron.
Yeah, I mean, you really can't move those bolts once they're in, right?
Right.
So we've got steel that's off on the side here. It's already got some very specific hole locations where it needs to be, and as you can imagine, you know, looking across the slab, all of these kind of have to line up too, right? So we've got very specific spots that we need our main span beams and our end girts to actually be in, so that all of it falls in place as a kit.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the downside to going ahead and having a pre-manufactured kit, right? So, you know, you see some of these companies that put up like post-frame construction and post-beam construction, they're building that on site. It doesn't really matter. When we start doing red iron, that's something we got to be very cautious about. So we have, you know, custom templates made up for exactly what matches the actual red iron, and we match that exact to the forms. Yeah,
and like I said before, I know Josh, you're showing the dirt. Very important to keep the grade away from the property. You have wind-driven rains here. I mean, lots of, even a wetlands right behind us. Yeah. So we got to make sure everything's graded properly and away from this house so you don't get any water intrusions for the future. And then, you know, a lot of people are worried about that too. Remember, they were talking about, well, what's the difference between block construction and metal and water getting in? So if you want to touch on that.
Yeah, I don't know, Josh, if you want to walk with me over here real quick, we might be able to see kind of what we actually have going on in this form. I don't know if Regan explained this to you or not, but we've got a typical form on the outside, which is actually the outside of our concrete, and then you see this secondary form to the interior. This actually creates what we call our drip edge. So our top of our slab comes up to the edge of the drip edge, drops down 1.5 inches, moves out 1.5 inches, and then goes down again against the outside of this form. And that's actually what our metal will go ahead and set right to the outside of, so that all of our water that hits the edge of the building slides right down and never actually lands on the top of our slab for the inside of the house. It goes right past it, another 1.5 inches down, and weeps right off the side.
And that's not what you see on your normal commercial buildings, and that's why people are always worried and they think it's the same process. Right. And it's not, because on your normal commercial applications, there is water intrusion all the time because they don't take that extra step.
It's definitely an extra step. It's extra labor, and it's stuff that you got to make sure is done right before you pour. So I'll tell you what, we were out here 4 or 5 different times, just checking and double checking, triple checking.
Well, even today I was telling Josh briefly, we're here with the homeowner now. You guys were behind us when I was doing a little bit of an intro. And even to think about the brushing, like the customer wants brushing of the back patio versus what, you know, your normal machine. So even those little things are things where we have to be out here having those discussions.
It's just one of those things. I mean, concrete, we're lucky in Florida that we have a little bit of time to work with concrete. You know, this isn't something that's going to set up in an hour and we can't touch it again. Right. This is something we keep wet for, you know, about half a day and let the guys keep on working it until it's perfect.
I got to say this. This is the perfect day to pour concrete.
Oh, this is the ideal weather.
It doesn't get any better than this. The overcast, the early morning, the weather, it's the perfect day for concrete. And what you do see, I'm not dogging builders, but the blow and go builders, they're pouring in the middle of the day in July. And that's why we have concrete cracks all over the place.
Yeah, I mean, concrete's an exothermic process, right? So it's giving off heat while it's actually setting up. So the biggest thing about that is trying to keep it even, keep it cool, and let it go ahead and kind of cure all at the same time so it gets strong all together instead of seeing these little pockets that go ahead and cure faster than others, and that's where you start seeing your main cracking.
So we're going to be letting this sit up here for a little bit, and then, I don't know if you got video of that yet, Josh, but then we're going to bring the old the machines out and start buffing this bad boy, making it look pretty.
Smooth.
Nice and smooth.